Hello, I'm Ollie and this is CriminOlly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today I want to talk to you about a book that was unremarkable in every single way and yet still a fantastically enjoyable read. So that book is Sworn to Silence by the author Linda Castillo, which is the first in her Kate Burkholder series. And that's a series I will definitely be reading more of. So this first book is available on Kindle Unlimited, which is how I read it, to kind of get you hooked on the series, I guess, so you buy the rest. But I thoroughly recommend it. If you like thrillers, this is a really, really good time. And I started by saying it's completely unremarkable. And it is, but that's not supposed to be a criticism. This is a book that uses tried and tested techniques, that has, a storyline you've seen before, who has kind of types of characters you've seen before, that doesn't really do anything original, but manages to weave it all together into just a really solid and enjoyable book. I had a fantastic time with it, and it's one of those books that I've been reflecting on since I finished it, which is why I made this video today, because whilst it was in many ways a throwaway read, it reminded me that sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just want something that's going to be simple entertainment, and that's definitely what Sworn to Silence gave me. So let me tell you what it's about. So it's about a young woman who's the sheriff in this small community in the States, and the community is an Amish community, and she herself was raised Amish but has kind of strayed away from the faith since then, has gone away and like been a cop in the big city, and has now come back to this small community and is the sheriff there. And a serial killer starts murdering young women in the community, and Kate, the sheriff, has to investigate. But as you often get in the first of a series, there's a backstory to the central character that seems to be kind of interwoven with present day events. In this case, Kate committed, and you find this out fairly early on in the book, so it's not too much of a spoiler. She committed a murder in the past, and she thinks that is somehow related to these murders that are happening now. So you've got a reasonably cliched setup there, and then you also throw into it so that the kind of, and it's not the FBI, it's called something else, the Central Investigation Bureau or something. They send a detective along to support because it's like a big serial killer case. But the guy they send is a guy who's completely washed up. He's had like a tragedy in his past, and they just want rid of him. So he's like an alcoholic. He's always drinking, and they're just sidelining him basically. But at heart, he's a really good cop. So you've got this kind of odd couple thing going on between the two of them, between the sheriff and this other investigator, which is really fun to read, just the two of them kind of sparking off each other. And gradually, as the story progresses, he rediscovers his cop abilities, and together they solve the case. So there is, like I said at the start, there is nothing original here. This doesn't do anything you haven't seen before, but it does it all with just genuine affection for the genre, I think. It's really, really suspenseful. There's a bit of romance thrown in. There's this wonderful kind of double mystery of the things that, the events from the past and exactly what those were and how those relate to modern day events. And then also the mystery of, who's doing the murders now. And that mystery, both the mysteries, to be honest with you, are well handled. You don't feel cheated when you find out who done it. You don't feel cheated. You can kind of see how you could have joined the dots yourself, but equally, it's not massively obvious. So it's not like you feel like you know the ending of the book from the halfway point. So yeah, just a really, really entertaining read. And like I said, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just want a book that's going to keep you turning the pages and keep you engaged. And this is a book I like genuinely couldn't put down. Once I started it, I just needed to keep reading it because the characters, whilst they're quite cliched, so kind of the strong woman fighting against the establishment and trying to stop the dominant men in the town from overpowering her instincts. The washed up cop who's an alcoholic who's lost his family and stuff like that. All of that just wraps together really nicely, and sometimes reading something with that kind of familiarity is comforting and effective. It can help ease you into a story, I think, in a way. So yeah, this is a read I would wouldn't hesitate to recommend, if you fancy something light and entertaining. I mean, it is very graphically violent at times, so maybe it's not that light. You know, it definitely comes with trigger warnings for gore and things like that. But it's very, very entertaining. It's a lot like the Grant County books by Karen Slaughter. So it's got that kind of vibe, that kind of, you know, investigation in a small town, terrible things going on, dark secrets from the past, you know, strong female lead, all that kind of stuff is going on here. But, you know, really, really effectively done. So yeah, if that's your bag, I definitely recommend this one. Okay, time for a random book from the shelves. It's another mystery novel with a female detective. So this is City of the Dead by Sarah Gran, which I've heard great things about but have yet to read. So I think there's 3 books in this series so far. I've got all of them. I need to actually sit down and read them soon. So I promise to do that. So I hope you found that interesting. If you're a fan of that kind of simply told but effective thriller, give the video a thumbs up and give me a recommendation in the comments or one you think I might enjoy. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're really good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.